Hey, welcome back guys to the channel. Maverick here today with episode 3 of Chainsaw Man. So last episode, we were kind of sort of introduced to our main character, right? Our main squad, if you will. So obviously we got Denji, we know about Makima, and we now know about Hayakawa and Power, right? Such an interesting name, Power. Very straightforward and to the point, kind of like her personality, isn't it? Now, unfortunately, we didn't really get to see them in, or really Denji, actually, utilize much of their powers or whatnot, so we're still a little bit light in terms of the mechanics of all this, like, devil things and whatnot. In fact, I don't even know if they really do have these sort of, like, power levels, if you will. That's definitely something interesting that I will look forward to and see if we can have any good way of measuring their relative power level, if you will. And really, more questions have been brought up rather than answers for the last episode. So hopefully in this one, we'll get a little bit more into the characters and also the world mechanics as well. And so with that being said, let's just get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, so I guess this is like right after last episode, where Power obliterated that devil. Oh, was that Makima? Her eyes, man. Huh. Really? Literally blood boiling or something? Seriously, is this like a bunch of elementary schoolers? Makima's just like, are you guys done? Hmm. I guess she's really, really scared of Makima. Yeah, she's like, you two, you are a team. Hmm. Was Makima the one who subjugated her? Or. Of course. That's why his vision lingered on the boobs in the last scene. By the way, I wonder if this is like maybe one of the first times that Denji has actually operated a vending machine. You'd think that he probably didn't really have any. Oh, here we go. Aw. Oh. Okay, so is that why these two can't get together, get along, right? One's a dog person, one's a cat person. Or are they gonna bond over a pet? I guess this is how they're gonna connect. Literally the devil's proposal. Why is the why is the background music getting so hyped up? Oh, dang! I even completely forgot we haven't gotten into the opening yet. Alright. Hmm. Now that now that I really pay attention to this, there's also an angel sitting back there, right? So is it literally a case where there's devils and angels, something like that? And so in that case, I mean that would make sense, right? The fact that devils exist would mean the counterpart should exist as well, right? You know, Hmm. I don't know. I was gonna say like maybe Makima's ability has something to do like with her eyes or whatnot. You know, where she likes to do this pose. I mean, it's a common pose, but especially with you know, there's been more and more characters that's been using this as a sort of like ability, right? Any Genshin players here? Nahilda? Anyone? Oh, okay. They're really going to go off on their own. So I guess this is the bonding episode between Denji and Power, eh? I mean, in his case, it's a little bit more literal. Come on, Denji. But okay, I understand, right? I understand. Come on, we're all a teenage boy at sometimes. Well, at least I reckon the majority of you guys were a teenage boy sometime. I think you might even still be a teenage boy right now, or maybe you can just still be a teenage boy at heart, right? Soviet. So this is a world where the Soviet Union still exists? Yeah, the it seems that this squad, if you will, is specifically devised to utilize these devils or fiends as actual assets. You were listening? No answer? No. Mm. Really? Is that how it works? Well, that's precisely why Makima thinks he's interesting, I would bet. You know, this is pretty interesting, right? It kind of like touches on a lot of other sort of fantasy themed works where the more you believe in something, not even just fantasy based works, right? But even a lot of like Japanese, I guess spirits inspired sort of. You know, more like spirit or folklore inspired sort of stuff, where the more you believe in something, the stronger its abilities are, something like that. What is the devil, you or something? Hmm. Is it or is it not her? No. Okay. So I guess this is like a sacrifice or offering or something. A bat devil. So like because people associate bats with vampires, I wouldn't really look at a hear something called a bat devil and think that it's a very powerful devil. So Denji literally can't do anything unless his cord is pulled, eh? Yeah. Because it's devil blood? Or does Denji just taste bad? This dude looks more like a gargoyle than he does a bat. It's like, where's my cat? Where's my meowie? He's like, shut up, bitch. No. Hmm. Let me guess, he's gonna eat it right then and there, yeah. So what determines whether devils have like a human appearance or not? Or is it because they're half or something like that? That was a nice juxtaposition there, by the way. Where if, the cow that's literally cut in half. Wait, this early? Huh. You know, one what? One thing I think that's really kind of ironic is that the bat who wants to drink blood literally just ate a blood devil. Like that has to be on purpose, right? Aw, look at Pochita. Oof. Okay, so I guess that answers the question of how strong a chainsaw is, eh? Meanwhile, Brum. Oh, oh, there we go. I was just waiting for it. So, is Power Chan gonna help? Nice. Yeah, am I the only? Like, it's badass, like, what Denji's doing here with his arms and all that. But on the other hand, it's also really, really funny to me that he literally has to run, like, the Naruto run, right? Because that's how his arms are. Ooh. Oh, really? Okay. Because it's not a girl, right? Oh. Oh, okay, okay. Like, it's a bat, right? A supersonic attack. Okay, okay. I get it now. Oh. Re-revving it? I mean, you know what? It's absolutely ridiculous, but I actually don't hate this dude. Like Akima said, he's interesting. Oh, I think somebody's gonna get cut up now. Beheaded. Or is it beheaded? Actually, I don't know. No, no, actually, no. It's just his innards. Again, this is actually, even though it's very bloody in a sense, it's actually not as gory as I thought it would be. Oh. What the actual F? So are we gonna have like a new ending every single episode? Oh, damn, that change up. Not exactly my style of music, but pretty fire. Wow, that switch up, holy shit. Oh, this is Maximum the Horror one? Okay. No wonder. Okay. I should have known that, actually. Yeah, they have this really distinct style, but... Okay. My bad, my bad. Anyways, see you guys after this. Well, alright, there we go with the third episode, and a little bit more action in this one, right? Which we all love, I'm sure. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see Power in too much action instead. I was actually hoping more so that maybe she would team up with Denji and, take down the bad guy together, the Bat Devil together, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, right? Now, obviously, I don't really think she's a goner. For one, we know that she's a main character, right? So, I guess that kind of takes a little bit of the suspense out of everything. Like if we didn't know that she was actually going to be a main character, I would say that there's a pretty good chance that she's probably dead. And that would be pretty shocking as well, right? You would literally have, it would be a huge twist, and I think it would actually draw a lot of people into the series if that really did happen. But obviously that doesn't seem to be the case, and I'm assuming also that maybe she's able to survive because she's the Blood Devil. So we saw that she's able to manipulate blood into different objects and shapes. Maybe she's able to manipulate her own body into blood as well, so generally be okay within the Bat Devil. I'm guessing that that's probably how she survived all of this. And once again, I just find it very ironic that this devil that needs to drink blood, or actually, I think most devils need to drink blood, right? So it's not only the bat, but definitely if you consider that the sort of reputation that bats have, and especially going for more of a Dracula angle, as I think they're doing here, then even more so you want they want to drink blood, right? So yeah, I just think it's ironic that the Blood Devil was eaten by the Bat Devil, but obviously she should be okay. As for Denji, we know a little bit more about his abilities and whatnot, and so, retractable arms and, superhuman strength and all that. I'm assuming he probably also has some healing factor built into him as well, in his devil form, so, the injuries that he received previously while being, I would assume that all of his internal organs have been crushed already at that point. So the fact that he's moving right now probably means that, considering that his former human body was also healed by Pochta whilst going through this sort of transformation here, probably something similar is happening here as well. So once he transforms back, maybe his human injuries, his human wounds will also be healed as well. But, we'll know more about that in the next episode. So, beyond that, though, and obviously, I guess the major thing here is in terms of understanding a little bit more about Power, and I guess the start of a relationship, a friendship, if you will, between Power and Denji, especially because they can bond over their lost pets or whatnot, and so that they have that connection there. So, well, again, we'll have to see in the next episode. That's why I didn't really like the ending of this one. Sure, it's a cool shot and all that with Denji, towering triumphantly over the Bat Devil, but we didn't really get to see any power action, and more to the point, we don't really get to see a little bit of more of a heart-to-heart between them, right? But I presume that's what's going to happen in the next episode, and if not really completely being buddies, at least they will learn to tolerate each other, I would guess. And not to mention, and another thing that I found pretty interesting about Power is that, as we can see in the flashback, literally this didn't really happen all that long ago, actually. So I would presume she wasn't actually part of the Force for too long. From the second episode, last episode, I got the impression that maybe she's already been working here for quite some time already. But I would guess not so, because I would presume that the Bat Devil would definitely not have so much patience as to keep the cat hostage for that long, right? So at most, in fact, I'm even surprised that the cat is still alive, if you will, because they also got to eat, and I can't really imagine the Bat Devil feeding the cat, right? So I don't know, maybe a little bit of a loophole there or whatnot, but it doesn't really matter too much, right? But I'm just surprised mostly that Power probably was not actually in the current squad for that long. Probably she was a recent capture by Makima. So yeah, so since we don't really touch on anything in regards to their, the relationship and character development between them, we'll move that aside and put it for the next episode. What I do want to talk about in this episode is, once again, going through the mechanics or the world building aspects of this series, right? So Makima mentioned something interesting here. Now, I don't know whether she was just being sort of if that was kind of hyperbole and or more poetic or philosophical in a way, or is that actually how the devils in this this world work, right? She mentioned the fact that the more that people all devils have names, and the more that people believe that the devil is based on something dangerous, the more powerful the devil would be. You know, if that is actually true, right? And is this actually a system where we have more of a faith, sort of like a faith system, if you will? So this is not the first time that I've encountered a world system like this. There have been other series as well, like I said, some that involve, you know, even though this is clearly more so of a westernized kind of setting here, especially with devils and angels and all that, but the concept of this, I think, really goes into a lot of, you know, traditional Japanese folklore, spirits, ghosts, that kind of thing, right? And the more that people, one common setting is that the more people believe in these superstitions, believes in these myths, believes in these folklores, the more powerful or the more agency that actual spirit has. And so if nobody believes in it, then they will literally not be able to do anything. But if a lot of people believe in them, then their powers would also expand exponentially, right? There have been many series or many works that have utilized this sort of concept. So I'm not quite sure if in this world, this is, you know, it's the same sort of concept, and the powers of the devils are actually dynamic based on, as she said, based on what people perceive of this kind of devil, right? So if it was a dynamic system, then that would mean that these devils or these or half devils like Power or Denji, like maybe they will be able to still grow their abilities and strengths. So it's not just predetermined based on, you know, what they were based on, right? They would be able to grow as well. I'm not really sure if this doesn't really strike me as a series that's going for that kind of an angle, but I do find it kind of interesting, right? Because you can definitely, if it was just sort of like dynamic faith-based system, then you can definitely do things to strengthen people's belief in that you are a very strong devil or whatnot, and utilize that to further enhance your powers, and to the point that you're literally almost unstoppable, right? Like if people all believe that, wow, Power is so strong and she's this devil working for humans, but she's literally invincible and whatnot. If all the people believe that, does that mean that she would become invincible? Somehow I don't think that this series is really going for that kind of an angle, right? But if not, then, you know, it does make one wonder. So does that mean that all the power levels of the devils are set in stone? Or, as I said, is Makima just being a little bit exaggerated here? And that's not really how the system works, right? Because it definitely, if you think about it a little bit more, just in this episode where we see the Bat Devil, right? I mean, you wouldn't really think that a bat is dangerous. Like, to me, I don't know, like, to me, a blood devil feels much more dangerous than a bat devil. Like, I don't know, is it just me? Now, obviously, you know, blood by itself is harmless. It's just that maybe I've been conditioned by too much other, you know, anime, manga, and whatnot, but anything that can manipulate blood, to me, actually feels OP in a lot of ways. So I don't know, man. To me, a blood devil feels infinitely more powerful than a chainsaw devil or a bat devil, right? So I don't know. Maybe this is like I said, this is just talking about being a little bit exaggerated or whatnot. It's not really how the entire thing works. Like, definitely when you think of a bat devil, to me, the image that I perceive definitely would not be like this sort of Wolf Swole guy that we see in this current episode, right? Whereas Chainsaw Devil, I guess I can kind of see Denji being a direct interpretation of a Chainsaw Devil. But once again, like, even so, I definitely wouldn't consider a Chainsaw Devil to be very strong. Like, obviously it cuts, right? And you know, if it actually cut into human flesh or whatnot, it'd be pretty damn painful, and you know, you could literally lose your limb over this and whatnot. You definitely could cut someone down with a chainsaw. You know, we've had like these chainsaw killers and whatnot in popular culture and all that. But at the same time, though, knowing how chainsaws operate, I don't know, like, maybe I'm having too much of a realistic take on this, but to me, a chainsaw is also something that can easily, you know, get its chains hung up, right, and get stuck and whatnot, and, you know, even though it can cut through a lot of things, and it can cut through, like, humans as well, but if you angle it incorrectly or whatnot, it wouldn't be able to do anything at all. It would get dull, it would get stuck on stuff, and it definitely can cut through, you know, actually solid material and whatnot. So, to me, a chainsaw devil wouldn't necessarily be something that I feel is very strong, actually. Like to me, it's sort of like a sword devil, if you will. Yeah, I'd probably perceive it as very sharp and whatnot, and definitely to humans, it would be quite lethal. But you know, I wouldn't expect a chainsaw devil or a sword devil to cut for a tank, for example, or cut for a car. So I don't know, like maybe I'm looking at this from a too literal of a situation here. But you know, if we look at the previous episodes, right, some of the more kind of devils, they definitely seemed weak as well. And so why does the chainsaw suddenly have such a great difference in proportion of power? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm looking too much into the situation, but again, it might also be that Makima is just being a little bit exaggerated in this sort of concept here, and that's not really how this entire thing works. If you think about it, it would also be nice if this wasn't the way things work, because that would mean that the devils because we clearly are also having two devils, half devils, if you will, as part of our main characters in Power and Denji. If this was really a fixed system and your power level that you have is predetermined, that means that they can't really grow anymore, right? So that's why, to me, this system definitely, what Makima says definitely doesn't completely ring 100% true. Or, of course, it could also be a case that Power and Denji are a little bit different as well, because they are, you know, they are more human in a way. Meaning that they might not be pure devils, if you will. I don't know, but this is just like speculation, thinking out loud, that I have right here without knowing anything of the original work or whatnot. So I just think it's fun to think through these kinds of things and see if it turns out to be true or not, right? Now, personally, what I'm also looking forward for is the angel that we see in the opening, right? Seems to be also part of the team as well. Maybe not directly, you know, working directly as part of the core four, but seems to be at least a sort of like a supporting character. And I'm really interested to see if this is actually a world where devils and angels coexist, so there's also an angel faction as well, if you will, or is that angel just a sort of like it's an angel devil, as crazy as that may sound, right? So I guess we'll see in the future, probably in this season as well, right? I guess one last thing to touch on is we saw Makima reporting back to her superiors, right? And you know, they obviously represent the Japanese government, so they said that there's the Americans and there's also the Soviets as well. I went back and checked, so they were talking about Soviets indeed in the Japanese as well, so it's not just a mistranslation or whatnot. So I guess this is a situation where the Soviet Union actually did not disband, because it doesn't really seem to me to be an anime set in the 80s or 70s or whatnot, so sort of like alternate history kind of a deal. I wonder, like, what's the significance of this being here. Well, actually, now that I think about it, what is the setting here? It should be modern day, right? Although, now that I think about it, some of the cars do seem pretty ancient, but that's just Japan for you, so it's hard to actually, sorry, I'm just like quickly skimming through the episodes once again. Is it actually set in the 70s and 80s? You know, now that I look at it, I think it's actually possible, right? I thought that they were using some okay. Maybe I'm just like tripping right now or whatnot, but I could have sworn that they were using like smartphones and whatnot. Now, it's definitely not exactly something that I'm keeping track of or anything, but huh. Interesting. Okay, yeah, let me ponder that on my own, and maybe sometime in the next episode as well. But anyways, I just thought it quite also an interesting tidbit of information that the Soviets still exist, and would that actually factor into the entire storyline? I assume that there's a specific reason why they were mentioned, and that their name was brought up and whatnot. Like, generally, mangas, anime don't drop this kind of information without having a specific need for this. So we'll see about that. Anyways, that is it for this episode. Thank you guys. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.